Hey ladies, good morning. It's Wednesday. It's September 18th. We are moving right along through our week, and it's going to be a great day. It's going to be, a great day in recovery. It's a great day to do this together, to be there for each other, to reach out, to ask for help, because nobody can do this alone. It's too much. It's too hard. We tried, and it doesn't work. And it's really not as much fun either when we're trying to do all this stuff alone. So, welcome to your new tribe, your new group. Let's see. So I did survive going to look at glasses with my dad yesterday. There were all sorts of things happening, and his girlfriend ran over a curb and her tire busted, and there was rescue missions and all sorts of stuff. Like, she was fine. We just had to go do things that I wasn't anticipating doing. And so I had texted my dad earlier. We were texting back and forth, and I'm like, did you go to have you gone to the eye doctor recently? Have you gotten an eye exam? Oh yeah, I went a month ago. Okay, great. So he gets me. After all this, we drive out to Costco, which is kind of far. And my dad's 80, so he's sometimes a little scary to drive with. So we get out there. While we're driving there, actually, the phone rings, and it's his eye doctor's office. I guess he goes to an eye doctor for glaucoma and stuff. And so they were calling him and saying that he didn't have a prescription. While we were driving. So it ends up that he went in for a different kind of eye exam, thought that since the doctor said his eyes didn't look like they had changed, that he could just somehow they could get that prescription from his glasses or something. I don't know. So we go to Costco. We're looking at frames. He can't do anything. He doesn't know what to do. And I was like, let's just take some pictures of you in glasses we like. I'll write down the numbers. You get your exam. You come back. It's done. So I am very grateful that I could keep it together, that I wasn't super frustrated, that I knew that probably things weren't going to go super smoothly, and just made the best out of it. And we had a nice time, and I think my dad talked from the time I got in the car to the time I got out of the car. I wonder who I get that from. But it ended up being a nice evening, a fine evening. I thought we found some cute frames. We'll see if he agrees. So I'll keep you posted on the saga of being a daughter in recovery and sobriety with aging parents, and what those adventures look like. So I'm going to read our daily meditation today from Keep It Simple, Daily Meditations for 12-Step Beginners. I like this book. I kind of feel like I am a beginner still. Every morning when I wake up, I feel like a beginner. And again, we don't say there's any one right way to be in recovery at Beyond Birth, but we do. I do like to use things from people who have already written things down and published books, and it just makes my job a little bit easier. Okay, September 18th. We feel that the elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. And that's from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So we can say drinking and drug use here for us. Giving up alcohol and other drugs is just the start. Even if we give up substances, can we be happy if we have our old life back in every other way? We have to do more. We have to see how our illness changed us. To do this, we turn to the steps. Our program teaches us to become new persons. We will change, and the changes will make us happy. That's the best part of recovery, change. Prayer for the day. Higher power, make me open to changes that will heal me. Help me see I'm not cured just because I've stopped using drugs or drinking alcohol. Action for today. Today, I'll choose one thing about myself I want to change. And I think this is a really, really interesting topic for today, because our substance use was a self-protection mechanism. I mean, it was a survival mechanism. It was a way a lot of us stayed alive. And there are other behaviors that built up to that too. And what happens, it seems like, is as you have more and more time away from the substances, and those behaviors that used to work for you don't really work as well anymore. They don't feel quite right when you find yourself doing them. You don't get the same sort of relief that you used to get from yelling at somebody or procrastinating, or used to, those things work pretty well, and now they don't. And number one, you have to realize what your life is like without drugs and alcohol. Who you're hanging out with, are they safe for you? Is this a safe place? Are places that you used to go, are those safe for you now? Are things that you used to do, are those safe for you now? We hear a lot about people saying, I was watching this movie and I got triggered. You think about like certain music, certain places, certain neighborhoods. You guys know those aren't serving you anymore, because that was part of sort of that other lifestyle. So first of all, you have to get some time away from the substance. Next, you have to start to realize these old behaviors don't feel quite right anymore. And that can take a lot of time to recognize that. Because like I said, they did work really well for you, and your brain is kind of used to that. That's kind of what your brain, where it wants to go, what it wants to do, these behaviors that used to work, because that's when you felt safe. So you have to realize those. Sometimes people point them out to us to help us realize them, and that's usually not my favorite way to discover these things. So there has to be a lot of patience there. There has to be some vulnerability, some talking to people about what's going on, some being honest with people about what you're actually doing, who you're actually hanging out with, what is going on in your life. There has to be somebody who you can be pretty open about that, to kind of get that feedback, for them to go, well, how's that working out for you? How's that going? So there are all these kind of layers that we're always going through, and we're always going through it with different behaviors. And some of them we don't even think were really related to any sort of substance use disorder, but then we find out maybe that they were. So one thing I've been listening to lately is it's saying, when you find yourself wanting to do that, kind of these compulsive behaviors, like, they can range from anything. They can be perfectly healthy behaviors. It can be cleaning. It can be eating. It can be, spending time looking at your phone, which when you intend to do that and that that's what you're doing, then it's great. But when you are wanting to do that instead of something you're supposed to do, that's when it gets a little dicey. So you kind of look and stop and say, okay, why am I doing this? Is it like, oh yeah, I had a really hard day, the kids are in bed, I'm going to, sit here and I'm going to go through Instagram for a little while? Or is it, I can't deal, I gotta, there's too much stuff going on, I gotta check out? Maybe not so good, because usually I can't do that for just like a short period of time. If I start doing that, kind of my day is shot. So why am I doing this? And then you can kind of think too, like, what did I feel like before I did this action? What do I feel like during it? And what do I feel like after? And that way you can kind of see, okay, maybe you have developed a healthy habit. Maybe when you get frustrated, you put the kids in the stroller and you go out for a walk, and maybe that feels really good while you're doing it. And then you get home and you're like, okay, my head is clear. I can kind of move on to my next thing. Or maybe it's, you're going to go out and you're going to smoke 4 cigarettes in a row, and you don't feel so hot after that. And then maybe that guilt kicks in. Just think about, just be present for those feelings. And what does this feel like? Is this helping me? Is it not? Does it help sometimes? Maybe you can even track those times that is a really great thing to do. And other times when it's not, that's not the best thing to do for that time. So this is all about being present in our lives. Being present, think about it. What am I feeling like when I want that 3rd cup of coffee? What do I feel like after that 3rd cup of coffee? Maybe that's something I need to look We'll see. So, there's just a lot going on after the substances, after we put the substances down. And that's where really this recovery comes in, the support comes in, this just learning all these new things and then practicing them. And that's what we do. That's what we all do. I've started wearing foundation now, and I'm still practicing it. It's hard. It's hard doing something new. I'm too old for this. Let me grab my NA Basic Text. Okay, I'm going to read for page 99, just for today. Okay, we live a day at a time, but also from moment to moment. When we stop living in the here and now, our problems become magnified unreasonably. Patience isn't a strong point with us. That's why we need our sayings, our literature, and our friends in recovery and support people to remind us to live our program just for today. Tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs and alcohol. Just for today, I'll have faith in someone in recovery who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I'll have a program of recovery, and I'll try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through my program of recovery, I'll try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I'll be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using drugs and alcohol and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. I love that. Okay, let's close out with the we version of the Serenity Prayer, and we're just going to get this Wednesday started. Take another breath. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today. Amen. Have a good one, y'all. Holler if you need anything, and I will see you tomorrow.